What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Why Are You Laughing podcast. Couple of things. Let's talk.
Why are you laughing?
You have any tokens for the machine down the street?
Welcome to the Why Are You Laughing podcast.
Welcome, everybody. So just a few things. The podcast is now going to be exclusively on YouTube until further notice. Things and events have occurred that really I did not expect to happen. And the point being is, Spotify, which bought Anchor. Anchor was the original program that I used to upload the podcast and, basically do what I needed to do and it put it on every single platform, which includes Apple and Spotify and, Google Podcasts and stuff like that. And it was great. And the problem is that Spotify came in and basically ruined that whole thing. They created this thing called Spotify for Podcasters, which bought out Anchor Podcasts. And it was fine for a while, and it worked. But they have taken away the creators' tools unless you can use a specific kind of technology. They won't accept certain files. And it's a shame because for the last 4 years, I've really enjoyed uploading with them and, making it possible for you guys to get some good content, hopefully, and some shared content. But I now see that avenue is gone. So even though I could have used it to its advantage, and I feel like, it's a shame that they took this away from the creators, this is going to have to be the avenue for now, unfortunately. But you'll get to see me on camera. You'll still get the same audio quality. I believe you can still download stuff from YouTube. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe you can. So the Why Are You Laughing podcast will now be housed on the Clappinator channel on YouTube. So I know it's a lot to take in, but at least it's still available. It's free. And we'll hopefully be sharing some cool stories with you guys and maybe some guests as well to get on camera. So that'll be cool. And it really does make me sad because I had enjoyed the last 4 years being able to utilize the companies around that are used widely around the country, such as Apple and Spotify, specifically. And I think it really doesn't benefit them in any way to take away the compatibility and the tools that have been so readily available to anyone who enjoys podcasting. And those platforms provided, that when you take those away, then you really take away the creator's ambition. And some of the stuff out there is really good. So I'm hoping that they're able to change their mind. I'm hoping that maybe they can come back to the reality of, hey, this is not the right direction to go into. So I guess we'll have to see. But for now, let me just fill you guys in. So my life lately, things have been going okay. I've been really busy. My record, Skeptical Punk, is almost finished. I have probably about a month left of work, and then it should be finished. Just turning a bunch of knobs basically, and there's one. The intro song is close to done. I got another verse left, and to record a couple of things I want to record. And it's really interesting experimenting with all this other stuff and sort of getting it to where I think it's a different avenue to go in a different direction that my music is taking. I'm very, very excited about it. I like the fact that I know how to use this program GarageBand to I don't want to say it's full potential. I don't know how to use it 100% to what maybe it could be. But, I mean, for the years that I have been using it, it's been pretty great. And I love recording. I love the process. I love the experience, especially having a good microphone. Shout out to the Blue Yeti microphone. I've had this thing for the last 4 years. I've used it. I actually gifted one to a friend of mine who's been on the podcast. My friend Abram Jones, he uses it to record sometimes, I believe. And it's just a beautiful microphone. I would love maybe possibly in the future to do a review video. I know I haven't put out a YouTube video in a long time doing a review on things. But I would love to try it. So, back to the EP. There's going to be 6 songs. 6 brand new songs that have not been recorded. So, it's nice. It's really, really nice to put out something new and to sort of put my stamp on things and make it possible for other people to feel like they can do it. And big shout out to a company called DistroKid. We used it in the early days of Soda, and it's worked well, and again, it's like when people try to put finance ahead of creativity, it really takes away from what can be. You can have money in something and you can make it, you can really put it out there and boost your posts and, or whatever. Or you could do what guys like Oliver Anthony did and just put it out there for free. And if someone sees it, they see it. And if they don't, they don't. The choice is theirs. Me personally, and what the documentary is going to be about a lot is self-success, which we've said on this we've said that phrase on this podcast for a couple of years now. Take a sip of coffee from the harbor. My mother got me this mug because she's cool, and I'm not. And I really enjoy putting self-examination, self-service, all the stuff that you can do on your own with the tools that are available, which is really what upsets me about the whole Anchor, Spotify for podcasters thing. Because, truth be told, using that avenue and getting your content on every single platform was really cool. And when stuff like that gets taken away from you, then people want to put less stock into it, and really not want to take their hard-earned money that they work 2 or 3 jobs to make to put into those platforms to pay for that content. It makes you not want to use it. But back to what I was saying, DistroKid, you do, I think it's like $20 a year now, or 22 or something like that, a year. And your music is on every platform forever, which is great. That's something that's sustainable. And not just platforms like Spotify or Apple, but they put it on YouTube as well. And it's there for the foreseeable future. And that's a price that I'm willing to pay. That's not a big chunk of change. It's reasonable. And we've lost that. I think, reasonableness is not really a thing that people are used to anymore. They're used to just getting taken advantage of. They're used to paying through the nose for concert tickets, you know, renter's insurance or whatever, what have you. It's everything has skyrocketed from one thing to another, and it's a shame because I think the big cause for that, or a big outcome because of that effect, is anger. And we're already living in a very angry world, unfortunately. So, but DistroKid, back to that, is they take that opportunity to put forth an effort to get your music on everything. And you even get something back, too. You know, it's not a huge amount of money, but if you really you know, need it, you can cash in on a little bit of that. Me personally, I don't check that. I try not to because it's like I really don't care. I don't have time to really think about the money I'm making on my music. The money I make at my shows is a little bit more important because they're handing me an actual check and a smile, and you know, I deal with real human beings when it comes to that. So, you know, people from like Granite Roots in Troy, New Hampshire, shout out to those guys. They're great. Debbie from Two Fruits and a Nut Winery over in Marlboro, New Hampshire. She rules. I just did a show over there. And, you know, it's that connection that I think we're losing as human beings. We're so in tune to social media and technology that we've lost that sense of interaction. So, back to what we were saying with the update on what's going on with me. The record's almost finished. I just did a show at Two Fruits and a Nut, that winery that I just mentioned. So shout out to Debbie. Thank you for having me. I did Granite Roots a week later. Thank you guys for coming out to that and supporting. And you know, it was weird. It was the first time that I'd kind of been on stage in a while since my surgery. And I didn't... For those who don't know, I had a couple of tumors. I don't think I've ever said that publicly, but I took some time off, and I had them removed last year. It was right around the time that I was starting my new job for a pharmacy, and I think it was needed. It was needed to take some time off stage and really look at what I view about music, which is one of the most important things in my life. And I've been making a point to really go back to what is my first love of this whole journey, which is writing and getting my feelings out there and, you know, telling certain stories that I have never really told before. I haven't really gone into any detail about things that have happened over the years, things that have happened in my childhood that I'm sort of talking about, which, you know, a lot of the stuff, of course, I've mentioned it on the show, I think maybe last month. It's been a while since I put out an episode because of this whole Spotify for Podcasters fiasco. And, you know, there again, it's like you don't really want to post at that point in time. You don't really want to take the time to really adjust to what was once the easiest thing in the world, which is just to record content and put it out. And now you got to jump through 80 different hoops in order for that to be possible. So, but I will say this about YouTube, even though I think it's dumb that they take some content down that they don't agree with, or that it's, whether it's misinformation or whatever you want to call it, they flag you on things and then you get punished. So that's why I don't talk politics. I don't talk religion on this show. And I try to make it as human as possible. Like, we say a lot of funny things. We have comedians on, you know, we've had other podcasters on, we've had musicians on, and, you know, beer companies, and that's all been so fantastic. the last 4 years have been great. They really have. It's been a lot of fun. And I know I haven't had a guest on in a while, which is kind of on me. I haven't really felt like reaching out to a lot of people in the last, whatever amount of time it's been that I've been recording my music, my new EP. I guess it's the combination of being busy and trying to also get my bills paid and keep my sanity. But other than that, things are going kind of okay. Everything's going a little bit steadier. I'm losing a little bit more weight. I'm down to 179 pounds. I haven't weighed that much since I was a young teenager. And it's been pretty crazy for me to feel the way that I've been feeling. Trying to cut back on things and try to put things more in a perspective, which has affected my writing completely. Again, the stuff that I'm talking about in these new songs I've never spoken about before. And I'm glad that I'm able to have that freedom now. Not just freedom on platforms, but freedom in my heart that it's the right choice to make. And it's like you basically just get things off your chest that only you and maybe a select few could understand. And if you get those people that do understand and do learn from it, and a pure example, I remember when Abram and I were trying to start a podcast like a little bit. We just never really got it off the ground, unfortunately. It was called Music Mondays. Feel free to go look this up, actually. I think it should be either on his channel or my channel. But we did a podcast called Music Mondays, and one of the reviews that we did was of Wilder Minds by Mumford & Sons. And at that point in time, I was probably... I don't remember if I say this in the episode, but I was probably around 19 or 20. I had just started, UPS. I was out on my own. And, a relationship went sour pretty quickly. And around that time, I was listening to that record pretty heavily. And everything that they were writing was what I was going through. Everything that was happening with those guys, like in that record, was just something that I can relate to. Like every single song, which is a very rare thing that happens, to where you are able to connect the dots with each lyric, with each individual note. Like, if you're a musician, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. But not only that, when you connect with the music and the sounds and the messages, it's like one of the most powerful things in the world. And at the time, I connected with it negatively. And I connected with it negatively because every bad thing that could have happened that year. Like I had lost that relationship. My grandfather had just passed away. I was living on my own for the first time. And I had no one to turn to that was supportive. And it wasn't because they didn't want to be supportive. A lot of it was on me to not talk about it. Shout out to my friend Mason, who's been on this show a few times. He really had my back. A lot of times you have those friends out there that you have death arguments with, but they're also the ones that are going to be in your corner 100% of the time. And in your corner, meaning they're going to be there for you. They're going to call you up. They're going to check in. They're going to make sure you're not dead. They're going to make sure that you have your wits about you, and they're going to make sure that you know that they're not going anywhere. And that's who he is to me. He's still one of my best friends. And the catch-22 to that is you will have those friends that will no longer be in your corner. They will turn on you, and they will walk away. And it's a shame. It's a shame that they think so little of you, and they forget who's been for them throughout all these years. And yeah, we make decisions. We make bad decisions. We make good decisions. We make questionable decisions. We make life choices. And sometimes a certain lifestyle is not for everybody, or it is. And if you blame your friends, and if you don't take responsibility for yourself, then you're going to be alone for the rest of your life, or codependent on those people who would flip on you in a minute. Because again, they don't want to take responsibility. They're just willing to blame the other person or the other people. And depending on the scenario, you could see it go downhill very, very fast. And when that happens, it's sad. It's out of control. It's brutal to see. Especially if they put their life on social media like, they only want to show you the bad just to make you feel bad. And at that point, you got to ask yourself, what kind of person do I need to decide to be? How do I let this situation maneuver me in a direction that's going to be positive? Or do you just let it get to your heart and beat you into a pulp? You always got choices. And when you have those choices, it's important to ponder on them for a good while. And make sure you know what you're giving up and what you're getting. Have those, feelings, and have those attributes, and have those in your future, like in your sight. Just have everything in front of you. And if you're struggling to put the pieces back together after you'd made a dumb choice, a lot of times no one is going to make those choices for you. You got to decide what's right and what's wrong. And I don't mean to put anybody on blast, but recently that has been heavy on my heart, especially when they make you out to be the bad guy, when in reality, consequences of their actions are the furthest thing from their mind. So, I guess really the message is choose wisely. Choose wisely with your friends. Choose wisely with your relationships. And with your gut. It's not easy. It's never gonna be easy. But if you can do it, and if you can live with it, then you've won. And it's hard saying these things without going into complete detail, but in the end, the people who understand what I'm talking about, you can relate to why it's wise to not bring those thoughts and feelings up specifically. Because there's just no need. There's no need to relive trauma. There's no need to relive what someone has done to you. Maybe even what somebody has said to you. You got to walk through this life just like everybody else. And if you put positivity in front of you, instead of just all the negative bull that is just constantly flooded with this very angry world that we're living in, like we've talked about, then props to you. Props. It's not easy. And it's not getting any easier. But anyway, keep moving forward. Keep getting up every morning and feeling better. Because you can do it. You got all the choices in the world. But the biggest one you can make is to, when you start your new day, start it as if things are going the best. Don't think about the past. And don't think about the future sometimes. Think about in the moment and what's correct with you right now. What you're thankful for right now. You know, it's like when you lose a loved one, it stinks. And it hurts. But you have to live like they quite possibly would want you to live for the rest of your life. And live like they're still around. You know. Everything shifts. And if you're down, make sure you use the right tools to get yourself back up. And that, my friends, is the first video podcast that I have done in a great while. And I'm so happy to be back on YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. It's been awesome chatting with you. I'm going to try to get a guest on here at some point. I really am. I'm hoping it works out soon. I don't have any dates coming up, but I'll probably be down in Florida in October doing a live show, hopefully. The record, Skeptical Punk, will be out soon, probably within a month, so look out for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Why You Laughing video podcast, and we're clear.